I have a question for you. You're saying it's baby steps. It's baby steps that he said, over my dead body I'll put on tefillin, and now he has to put on tefillin. And my challenge to you is, you're looking at him at 0, and we want him to be at 100. 100 is fully Shomer Torah mitzvahs, fully functioning, part of the community, and then you could add on all kinds of other stuff, but let's just call 100 Shomer Torah mitzvahs, Kashrus, Taras, Mishpacha, Shabbos, Yom Kippur, marry a Jew, marry a frum Jew, Shomer Shabbos. I think everybody would agree that would be considered 100. There's always 200. Sometimes people say a shramel is not 200, a shramel is 100. But we know now that we'll be very happy with, Shomer Torah mitzvahs. So in the derech of being Shomer Torah mitzvahs at 100, so maybe he's only at 1% or 2%, because he put on tefillin. He has to put on tefillin. That's one way to look at it. That's looking at it that, normalize, and that's very true. You look at a kid who used to run around and was very athletic, and then he got hit by a car, and now he's in a wheelchair, and we say, wow, he got up and he walked 5 steps. So compared to where we want him to be, that he can run around like a normal, healthy person and jog for an hour, so it's a baby step. We look at things a little bit different. We have to look at things with himmeldike Augen. We look at things that Hashem put neshamas down in this world to bring him nachas. Hashem put us in situations where he judges effort. Hashem put certain neshamas down here to bring out a kvod shamayim, that a neshama will never be lost, and that even in the worst situations a person can come back. And if you look at it himmeldik, that's not a baby step. He's at 100, because what he did now, after you take all the pain of the abuse and trauma and his life being destroyed and being on drugs and almost dying, and you take all of that he knows was given to him by Hashem, tortured as a little child, tortured, and a life of more pain than anybody probably since the Holocaust. Certainly, we don't have to get technical to say everybody, but certainly the top 10%, right? Regular people don't suffer ki huzeh and any amount compared to what he suffered through in his young life. And Hashem took this neshama, and for whatever reason, maybe it's a tikkun, maybe it's a schus, maybe he's a carbon for the averis of the klal, as the Tzachina Rebbe said from his tzaddikim, Tyrus Moshe Messinai, that's his Kabbalah. And he did something that is stronger, more impressive, more amazing than anything that we will ever do in our life for Hashem. That the strength of a boy who gets hit by a truck and is in a wheelchair for 10 years to get up and walk 5 steps, he shows his inner strength. It takes more strength, koiches, physical koiches, than any healthy person running 10 miles. And we all understand that's why in the hospital, in the rehab, he gets a round of applause. Everybody's clapping. You say, what are you clapping for? What did he do? So first of all, the only way to get to running to 100, if ever, the only way, it starts off with baby steps. So you applaud baby steps, but it's more than that. The koiches that he needs to have to care and to push himself to take those 5 steps, he's stronger than the guy who's in the Guinness Book World of Records as the strongest guy in the world. Somebody who has a broken arm and lifts a tennis ball, who picks up a can of Coke, is stronger because he has a broken arm. He's stronger, he's using more inner strength than somebody who has a healthy arm who lifts 50 pounds, 100 pounds. So how does Hashem look at it? So there's famous stories of the Baal Shem Tov and of all kinds of stories of people that came down here just to be misak in one thing. People came down here to just prove that they want, that they still have a ratzon to do one mitzvah. A person could be put down on earth to do one mitzvah. So from one side, the strength that he is shown as a neshama that won't stop, the neshama that won't be burnt out, he has proven it. The other 5, 10, 15, 20 other kids that you have that could be sitting and learning all day have not proven, as great as they are, have not proven that you can go through Auschwitz, a personal Holocaust that he went through, and still be committed to Torah. And nobody can do better than him. That's called Al Todanas Chavercha Ad Shetagia Lem Kaimai. I know I don't have that kind of koiches nefesh. I think most people will say that they didn't grow from something that's not possible for them and that they're against to doing it. How many people took on something to do that is from where he was to where he is? So that's not baby steps. That's the greatest giant step that's humanly possible, because he proved that the neshama never gets extinguished. He proved that without having to impress anybody, without doing it for anybody else, he did a pure act, a pure mitzvah. How many pure mitzvahs? How many pure mitzvahs do I do? Once it's not because of the neighbors and because of the other people and not because I just do it and not because of anything, but just something, a new thing, an extra, just to do it for Hashem. How many mitzvahs do any of your other children do you do that you don't need to do, so to speak, that you didn't do before, and now you grew and you're doing it? What change have we done for Hashem? The amount of pain that he went through, this is not a baby step. This is proof of all the midrashim and the gemaras and all of the Zayir HaKadosh and all of the tzaddikim that say oid ma'at ve'ein rasha, and all the stuff. He's proven that a neshama never gets extinguished. If he had this much pain in law school, he would not decide, today I want to go to a lawyer. I want to do something, whatever. I don't know a good end of that mashal. If anybody else heard him in any other matzav, he would never do something to please that person or that thing. And here he went to put on tefillin to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to be medabek in HaKadosh Baruch Hu through tefillin. Who could say, mi yoimar, who could say that they can be better than him? He's a gadol adar. He's a gadol adar. No, my other son puts on tefillin every day. Your other son didn't go through a car accident that broke him. Nobody went through what he went through. Somebody who went through what he went through and does one mitzvah, look how much it's beloved to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Malachi Asheris are dancing. The Malachim are saying, look what we can do. Look at this. In this day and age, this is not 2,000 years ago. After so much gullus and so much darkness, we're such a weak dar. And we take a kid and he was never abused and molested and a life of Gehenna, an overdose, and almost died, and all the pain in his life. And it's coming from, he knows, he believes in Hashem. Otherwise he wouldn't put on tefillin. So he believes in Hashem, so he knows Hashem is the one who decreed that. Hashem is his greatest enemy. That's why he said, I would never do anything for Hashem. He's his biggest enemy. And yet, you wait, and you did TP, and you nurtured him, and you makarev him ba'avoisei sahava without any demands, no yarmulke, nothing. You let him heal. You followed what the Baal Shem Tov said, you're tzaddikim. Baal Shem Tov said very clear, Lehoiv oisam b'yoser umachma zois yetzei mikfira. The Chazon Ish said, you followed what all the tzaddikim say. And now he took a baby step, putting on tefillin. He didn't do a baby step. His tefillin that he did, I would buy from him that schar. What's it worth? It's probably worth more than all my tefillin of my whole life. That somebody went through so much pain from people, rejected by from people, flunked out of the from society and everything, and he went and said, I want to put on tefillin. He went to Mekayim Kedoshim, to Tzaddikim, to daven. So if you're looking at 100 being normal, then he's only a baby step. He did 1%. He didn't put on tefillin every day. He's not keeping Shabbos. He did a baby step. That's because you're looking at it wrong. He's at 100. He's at 100. What he proved, the veracity, the strength of a neshama that never breaks, that never gives up, that never stops. As long as we do our job, and we, parents and family and people, don't reject and put a wall up, and if they do, all the Averis and all those mitzvahs that would have happened, and the Eibishter knows how to calculate, it all goes on them. That's what the Medrash Sifri says. Kol hagoyrim takalu lechaveroi. Whoever creates a stumbling block for his chaver, for a person, hu nichnas tachtov lechol einshim. He gets replaced for all the einshim. And the Peleyoyet says that if you act tough and you do different, you're strict with people and you reject them, you're over lifnei ivelei sitein michshel. But you didn't. You didn't let any walls come up, even though it's very hard in your community or in any community to have a son looks like this, the way he looks. But you went with the erlich ha'tayirdik way. I'm not going to reject my son. And when he could, as soon as he could, he did. It took a long time. You needed to have a lot of patience, a lot of emunah in Hashem, emunah in the derech of the Baal Shem Tov and the Chazon Ish of the tzaddikim, the derech HaTorah, and emunah in your son, emunah in your flesh and blood, that he is a chelik elokam mimal, mamish, and that he is toiv. And all the tzvarim that say that be'etzem every yid is toiv, and every yid who was by Mamid Har Sinai is toiv, and has all the goodness of every single kid inside of him. It's not just words. It's real. And as soon as he was able to recover a little bit, and he was able to have the space, he decided, I want something to be medabik to Hashem. He's a hero. If we were smart and we had Torah Dika Eugen, we would go to him with a kvittel. We ask him to bless us. The same way that a tzaddik who's healthy and strong and is running 100 miles a day, the greatest strength, so too someone who gets out of a wheelchair and pushes to do a step, 2 steps, 3 steps, he's maybe even more strong. If you look at Himmeldik, Hashem must be so proud of him and so proud of you to allow this to happen, to make sure that it happens by just following Das Torah, even though it's expensive, even though it's embarrassing, even though you have neighbors, and even though people say, nah, you throw them out. How many people said, throw them out? You would have lost this. For one mitzvah, it's not kedai. He already is a hero. And as he gets stronger, he will do more. And when he can, he will. But when he does one thing, it's not a baby step, it's a giant leap. He's in the realm of the greatest tzaddikim. That's what the Svarim teach us. Because the Eibishter knows what he went through, knows the pain he went through. Plus, all the Averis are not on his cheshbon, they're on the people who hurt him. That's what the Medrash is saying. He doesn't have Averis. Plus, you have Reb Gershon Shlita Zayin Gesund, Reb Gershon Edelstein, who says that he's an oinus. So he's not even chayiv. Plus, you have all the people who understand this, who understand that he's a chayla. He's not held by regular stuff after, and nobody who went through what he went through is held by regular standards. Otherwise, this whole thing doesn't make any sense. And the Eibishter judges on effort, and the Eibishter knows his pain. Ki yodati es machoivav. The Eibishter said, when we were bowing down to idols, and everybody would say, like the Malachim said, halalu oivdei avodah zara, v'halalu oivdei avodah zara, that they're terrible. We lost them. They're gone. And the Eibishter said, no. The Eibishter said, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael. They're perfect. They're my bechar. They're beautiful. But they're being avodah avodah zara. Yeah, there's a reason. Slavery. There's a reason. Shibud. Miyad amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what the Medrash Yalkut Shemaini says. HaKadosh Baruch Hu miyad answers right away that angel who said, halalu ka'alalu. And he says, V'chila data, shoyte sheba oilam. He calls him a meshugana. When your friend says, he's mamash like a Puerto Rican, he's mamash like a guy. Shoyte sheba oilam. Bist the größte meshugana in the ganze Welt. V'chila data mavdua. You think they had das when they bowed down to Avodah Zarah? They were free. They had bechira chafshi. Halei lo yavduha ela mitoich shibud v'tirav das. They only bow down to Avodah Zarah because of shibud, addiction, trapped, and tirav das, messed up in the head. And unfortunately, your son, no question that every single person in the world agrees that he has shibud and tirav das. And the Eibusher says that doesn't count. B'chila datam avduha. This is called Avodah Zarah, somebody's traumatized, someone who's meshubed, someone who's on drugs, that you're coming to me to tell me his sins. Those aren't his sins. There's a story here. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me. Kiratzin or something like that, and you're just judging it all the same. Anybody who doesn't recognize the greatness of this neshama is a shaita gamur. They don't have Torah diga eigen. They don't understand and appreciate what he went through. They don't realize how judgmental they're being. They think, ki'ilu, I think I could do better. Yeah? Okay. Next Gilgal, you come back as him, and let's see how you do. But it needed to be nurtured by you. The China Rebbe Shlita said that just like the Satmar Rebbe, the Divrei Yoel Schis Yugan and Laini, he said that when you see someone who has tattoo on his arm from the Holocaust, you should ask him for a bracha, even if he's not Shema Torah mitzvahs. He said, so too, we know the tattoos on these kids are because of terrible tsar, inui nefesh, agmas nefesh, shibud, tirav das, pain and pain and pain. If we were smart, we would go to them, and instead of looking away or Rahmana litzlan, calling them names or looking down at them, instead we should go and kiss them and we should ask them for a bracha. I would love to meet your son and bow my head and ask him, Barcheni, please give me a bracha. Because he's so strong. He's so strong. He did something that I don't think I've ever done or ever could possibly do. The Mesiras Nefesh, the bittul to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to accept all the pain that he went through and want to do a mitzvah, to search for the reality, not just float through life because, okay, my parents are from, I'm from, everyone's from, that's it. But no, I don't need to do anything, but I need it, I want it. Such a pure carbon that he gave HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Such a pure sacrifice, such a pure carbon he gave the Eibishter. Mamish purity. Even though when he went into shul, he didn't have a yarmulke and he didn't have anything. But he said, can you please give me tefillin? His neshama's yearning. If we only saw this, we would put him on our shoulders and dance with him in the streets. Unbelievable madrigas. Unbelievable. This is not a baby step. In the scheme of things of where we would like to see him, it's a baby step because we want to see him reach all the way. But we can't look at it like that. We have to appreciate the godless of what he just did. Anytime a kid who goes through pain does a mitzvah, something, anything, it's so chashuv by the Eibishter. Hashem marks according to effort. Hashem understands. Ki yodati es machoyvav. The Eibishter knows what's going on inside. Yodei ani es ha'ke'ev ha'pnimi ha'machalchel m'pnimius nafsham. The Nesiv Shalom brings down that's what ki yodati machoyvav means. I know the pain that's inside of their essence that is churning inside of them. Ki yodati es machoyvav. I know that they're good and they can't do any better. I know it. Re'eeeaaaallllyyyy ani ami, a double lashon. The Medrash says, should have said re'eeeaaalllyyyy ani ami. I have seen the pain and infliction of my nation. But it says re'eeeaaalllyyyy. What does it mean? Says the Medrash, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe, ata roya re'i achas, v'ani roya shtei riyas. Moshe ben, you see one thing. You see the kid at risk, you see the Averis, you see the outside, the Avodah Zarah, you see the baseball hat on the side or the no yarmulke, you see the tattoos, you see the smoking on Shabbos. You see the outside, external behavior. Moshe Rabbeinu said, they're not going to believe me that you want to take them out. You see the outside. The Eibishter says, Zok the Medrash, I see that also, but I see another thing. I see another vision. I see deep inside. Because I know what's going on from the inside and how much pain they're in, how much pain he suffered in his life, how many times he wanted to die, how many times he wished he was dead, how much energy it took for him to come to this place that he says, I want to do a mitzvah. We will never, most of us, ever get to his toenails, to his tippy toes when you look at it that way. You should ask him for a bracha. You should put him on your shoulders. You should be proud, like the Eibishter said, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael, when we were in Mem Teshari Tumah Oiv de Avodah Zarah, Heferu Bris Milah. And Hashem says, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael. The Nesiv Shalom points out so beautifully, we would think that Hashem would say that you're my Bechar by Matan Torah, when we reach the highest level. No. He said it before in Tshuva. He said it while we were spitting in his face. We were stealing his credit card and buying, I don't know what the example would be, because we were taking his life that he gave us and we were bowing down to Avodah Zarah. So that's like what? That's like someone takes your credit card. People say, and buys treif. No, that's against Hashem. No, buying something against you. Spitting in your face. And Hashem says, I love you guys. I'm crazy about you. The Medrash says Hashem has two things that are called banim. Banim atem l'Hashem Elokeichem. We are called children, but the angels are called b'nei Elokim. Angels are called also children of God. And says the Medrash, we don't know which one Hashem loves more. Really? Which one do you love more? The kid who messes up and does drugs and is Bechal Shabbos and chutzpah, he used to call you the names he called you, the fighting that you did, all of that pain? Or the angel that gets hundreds and everything's great and listens to everything you say? Who does Hashem love more? Klal Yisrael, who was Oivdei Avodah Zarah? Klal Yisrael, Chorban Bayis Rishon, Chorban Bayis Sheni, Slach Lonu Avinu Kichotanu 3 times a day, Ashamnu Baganu. Except if you daven a Chassidish minyan and there's no, because there's always the artite for somebody. Al Chet, Yom Kippur, the amount of sin that we produce. And the Medrash says, I can't figure out, does Hashem like Klal Yisrael, or does Hashem like heavenly angels that always listen to everything he says and give him just such nachas? They just do everything right. Says Reb Levi, because it says, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael, that's a raya that Hashem loves Klal Yisrael more than Malachei Hasharis. A b'char is a lashon of ahava and chiba, and actually they were created first. And still we're the b'char. We give him nachas. Ahava v'chiba yisera to us. And when did he say it? While we're Oivdei Avodah Zarah. Because he knows that we started off the Shiftei Ka and we never changed from being holy and Kaddish and Tahar, but we couldn't on the outside because of our pain. Hashem knows your son's pain. Hashem feels your son's pain. And Hashem and the Pamali Shamala are applauding him for the mitzvah that he did, even if he never does another mitzvah again. It's worth all the money and time and effort and energy in the world that you invested into this neshama. You're a partner. You're a partner. Because if you would have been merachik him and done things wrong, like so many people say, teach him consequences and boundaries, and don't let him, and don't give him money, and don't this and don't that, this would not have happened now. But you followed the advice of the Baal Shem Tov and the Chazon Ish, and thousands of other Maramah that I have that are going to be in my book, which is a collection of all of them. I just spoke about the Chedushei Radal, which is very long ago, and the Pele Yoyetz 200 years ago, and Rav Pam just from a few years ago, who writes clearly what to do, and all the tzaddikim. You did it. You followed their advice. You're a part of it. You supported this mitzvah that is probably, perhaps, one of the greatest mitzvahs that were performed this year and perhaps this decade, you should be very proud of yourselves. And you should look at him with these beautiful eyes shining pride. Look what a child you have after everything he went through, that he still wanted to do a mitzvah. And Hashem should give him a complete refuah shalema. He should do many more mitzvahs. And he should have a complete return. He should be healthy physically, emotionally, psychologically. He should be happy and successful. And Yismach Leiv, Mevakshe Hashem. And you should be zeicher to walk him down to a chuppah kedas Moshe v'Yisrael.